What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video comparison. So now we are going to take a look at the various war machines that I do have. In my opinion, the best war machines out there. So we got Mark 1, we got Mark 4, which is still pretty awesome up to this day. And you can already tell the last one here is the big and beefy Iron Patriot. Yeah, I know it's not technically war machine, but hey, let's give it a pass. It's roadie. Plus, he's massive, and I've seen people customize this to become gray and be a war machine per se. So yeah, let's include him in there. I still have one war machine, which is Punisher war machine. I'm not going to include it here. He's technically not roadie, so but just putting it out there. So let's start off with accessories. I would say this is the best of the bunch, which is Mark 1, because of the battle damage pieces. I'm a huge fan of those battle damage pieces. Now, it doesn't look like he does have a lot here, but trust me, Mark 1 is loaded with guns, accessories, and whatnot. Now, this is Mark 4. Again, it doesn't seem like a lot, but there is. You see the two guns on his forearms, also the two small ones on his back, and he got that shoulder, I don't know, rocket launcher thing that you want to call. I'll show it to you later on. He does have something on his wrist as well. And now this is Iron Patriot, which this part doesn't really illustrate how good the things are, but you see he has his own head sculpt. See the massive hands, that's why I put it in there, the neck piece. And he got guns all over. That's already inserted in the figure, so I'm not going to take it out, but I'll show it to you later on. Now the stand. Mark 1, again, in my opinion, wins this one. And he's the oldest out of these three. Or maybe it's Mark 4, I don't know. But you can see the Infinity War Machine, just pretty basic stand right there. And he's the only one who does have the flight pole as well. And Iron Patriot, I'm not a big fan of those huge, massive bases. But you can clearly tell Mark 1 has I would say, the best one. I hate those, flying pole anyway. But Mark 1 does have that nice diorama base on it with kind of like a moss, with the garden when they fought, and even have that hammer drones in there. Now the body, which is the armor. So this is Mark 1. It does have some scratches in there. Pretty basic. You got to remember, this is basically Mark 1, the first war machine. So it kind of has that throwback feature in it. Compared now to the right one, which is the Infinity War. As you can see there, it has this digital camo kind of wraps into him. And the War Machine Mark 1 gives you that classic feel. However, when you jump into, the Mark 4, it gives you that kind of slimmed down muscular look with small waist, big upper body, compared to Mark 1, who is pretty much like a tank. I like the paint application here as well. A lot of damages. Not a whole lot that you would see here in Mark 4. There's a lot of lines. There's a lot of patterns in here that gives you more of a futuristic look compared to Mark 1, who's more like robotic, that you're inside this giant tank, the flying tank that you do have. While on Mark 4, it seems, compared to a suit, this is like a slim fit suit. Now totally obliterated by this this armor, which is the Iron Patriot, which is just big and beefy. He feels like a transformer now, compared to the slim version of Mark 4. Now this guy looks like he skipped leg day, even though his feet is big, but like his upper body is just massive. He looks like a football player. Different color scheme as well, so it gives you a different vibe compared to Mark 4, which is again not bad. I actually like Mark 4 in terms of a good balance between the two on the sides. Now head sculpt, as you can see here, the one all the way on the left is Mark 1. You got that rounded, more smooth kind of surface and whatnot, and then you go to the middle one, which is Mark 4. A little bit of kind of like a heartbreaker kind of look here. More lines, more edges, more slim fit, I would say, like more modern looking. You got that pattern, digital pattern again. And then you got the again massive Iron Patriot out there, who's a little bit more futuristic. You know, you got those lines as well, but he's a bit bigger, and also he does have a neck piece attached to it, because you can take out the neck piece and swap it out with the Rhodey head sculpt. And as you can see here, we'll blast him with lights so you can see a little bit better. The good thing about Mark 1 is you can change the faceplate with a battle damage one, so that's a good plus compared to the other two. Now you see the Rhodey head sculpt inside, I believe, has not changed. That's Mark 1 on the left, Mark 4 on the right. Maybe the skin tone kind of varies here and there, but overall I think it's the same sculpt. Now Mark 1 sits a little low for my liking compared to Mark 4, where you can see his eyes. You know, like this one sits a little bit higher, so when the faceplate goes up, you can see his face. Now this too does have the half faceplate, but only this is the first time we are getting a full-on head sculpt by Rhodey, but you know, through War Machine. I mean the Iron Patriot, and I think it's a pretty good likeness. You know, he's a little bit older in here, but you won't kind of notice it if you just kind of take out the faceplate, remove the forehead and through the chin, and imagine that being on a half head sculpt. I think it is pretty much the same. And my final thoughts on these guys, they're all fantastic. I think this is I skipped, well, I owned some of the War Machine in between, but they never really spoke to me. In my estimation, War Machine is some guy who has like tons of guns, like just a lot of them. And unfortunately, Mark II, I believe that's Mark II, the one from Age of Ultron. Then I reviewed that, but that never really spoke to me. Then you got the I think Mark 6 now from Endgame as well. That didn't really do it for me either. But I like this evolution coming from Mark 1, which is a classic, and it's still available up to now. But if you ask me if I have to choose one, and I didn't appreciate him up until I picked him up again, because I rarely pick these guys up, is this Mark 4. The moment I picked him up, as much as I love War Machine Mark 1 right now, because I do love the idea of, you know, changing plates to make it battle damage, there's something about Mark 4 that just, the combination of classic / modern suit with a lot of guns, and combine it with the awesome scene that he does have in Infinity War, which he just went ham on those riders. I mean, it's just amazing. But these three guys, if you own War Machine, I would even make an argument that you can own 3, and not a bad deal. But you can't go wrong with either. Like right now, the most available is Mark 1, so I highly suggest that as well. Thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you like this video. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.